After traveling a long distance and arriving in Canaan, Abraham was looking around when suddenly God appeared and said, "I will give this land to your descendants." This is a pattern that repeats throughout the unfolding story. In other words, the Bible is structured in such a way that absolute faith in God comes first, followed by the reward of God's grace. However, the joy Abraham felt upon receiving this promise from God was short-lived, as he soon faced an unimaginably harsh reality. The region of Canaan was suffering from water shortages, and famine and food crises were looming. Consequently, Abraham went down to southern Egypt to find food. Egypt, with the Nile River, was far more stable in terms of water supply compared to Canaan. For this reason, it was customary for many Canaanites to flock to Egypt whenever famine struck. Though Abraham had lived well in Ur, he was now merely a nomad. Moreover, in Egypt he was a foreigner. He was fully aware of his disadvantaged position. Abraham's wife Sarah was 65 years old, quite young for that era, and a strikingly beautiful woman. Abraham feared that if the Egyptians saw the beautiful Sarah, they might immediately kill him, her husband, and seize his possessions. In those days, it was not uncommon for a king to summon a beautiful woman to the palace. Even if she was another man's wife, if the king desired her, it was possible for him to have the husband killed and take her for himself. Abraham likely thought that such things were possible in a pagan society that did not fear God. Thus he devised a plan. If trouble arose, he would tell the Egyptians that Sarah was his sister. Since Sarah was his half-sister, this wasn't entirely a lie, but it was far from an honorable excuse. Though Abraham had deep faith, it seems he lacked pride as a husband. His ominous premonition proved correct. An Egyptian official who saw Sarah immediately recommended her to Pharaoh. The officials treated Abraham kindly, giving him gifts of sheep, cattle, donkeys, male and female slaves, and camels. In exchange, Sarah was taken into the palace as Pharaoh's wife. Had God not intervened here, a tragic outcome would have ensued. However, God did not abandon Abraham, who, despite lacking some pride, was deeply faithful. Using Sarah's situation as an opportunity, God sent a plague upon Pharaoh's household. Pharaoh instinctively realized this was because of Abraham and summoned him to the palace to demand the truth. Abraham then confessed that Sarah was not his sister but his wife. Shocked, Pharaoh exclaimed, "Why did you say she was your sister?" "Because you said that, I took her as my wife." Yet, Pharaoh did not punish Abraham or Sarah at all. Moreover, the gifts they had received were not taken back, and they were able to safely depart for the promised land of Canaan. When Canaan was struck by famine, Abraham had gone to Egypt in search of food. Though he faced difficulties there as a foreigner, thanks to God, he was able to return to Canaan. This same pattern can later be seen with the Israelites. They go to Egypt, suffer there as slaves, but through God's power, return to the promised land of Canaan. Because of Abraham's small lie, Sarah was put in danger, but through God's special intervention, she narrowly preserved her chastity. This serves as a lesson that one should never lie, no matter how small the falsehood. Even if it seems like an unavoidable expedient, lying is something that must never be done.